Welcome to this special Earth Day episode of the Pine Mountain Sessions at Home. I'm Greg Abernathy, Director of Kentucky Natural Lands Trust. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day and the beginning of the modern environmental movement. So much has unfolded worldwide with this movement over the last 50 years, although there is much more work to be done. Here in Kentucky, this movement includes the formation of KNLT, and this year we're celebrating our 25th anniversary of protecting, connecting, and restoring wildlands. We're grateful to all of you who partnered with us over the years. Together, we protected over 45,000 acres of wildlands, safeguarding some of the most biologically diverse and climate-resilient lands in Central Appalachia. Our efforts are forging ahead with several exciting projects moving forward on Pine Mountain. Key to our success is the power of partnership. Tonight, we are spotlighting our unique art and conservation partnership. We're thrilled to be bringing you another episode of our new online series, the Pine Mountain Sessions at Home. Stay tuned for new episodes. Please help spread the word about KNLT and the talented artists taking part in this series. Stay healthy and enjoy the show.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening, whatever time you're listening. Hold on.
Well,
it is Earth Day.
Good morning. It's Earth
Day, yeah.
Today.
No, it's Earth Day. It's going to be broadcast on Earth Day, which is next week.
Oh, okay. Okay, good morning, good Earth Day to you. We've always wanted to play a breakfast show, and so now we can. We're here with coffee and oranges, and we're going to play some songs. My name is Joan Shelley.
My name is Nathan Salsburg. Thanks for listening, and thanks to KNLT for having us. 2, 3, 4. Only the lonely, only lonely, only the lonely will know.
I spent a lifetime searching for some kind of contentment here in my soul.
Just a little sunshine, only sometime in a place to come in from the cold. Only the lonely, only lonely, only the lonely will know. Lost and lonely, longing for only one ray of light in this dark wheel of time.
Hearts forsaken, left silently breaking, shipwrecked and lost on life's stormy seas.
Only the lonely, only lonely, only the lonely will know. Only the lonely, only lonely, only the lonely will know.
A spring remembered the taste of gin, and I lit a light upon our skin. Before it lingers, a trace just where you've been. Songs we sang, I'll sing again. When it breaks down, baby, let's try to see the beauty in all the fading. I saw the river, thick with mud, break through the banks and run. And I confess I liked it. I cheered the flood when the water hit the walls and won. When it breaks down, baby, let's try to see the beauty in all the fading. The roads are endless, they seem to grow. Vines they wind around the world. And though I hate it to leave my home, I love that car when I need to go. When it breaks down, baby, let's try to see the beauty in all the fading. Oh, Kentucky stays in my mind. It's sweet to be 5 years behind. That's where I'll be when the seas rise, holding my dear friends and drinking wine. When it breaks down, baby, let's try to see the beauty in all the fading. When it breaks down, the stakes get high to see the beauty in all the fading.
Hello, I'm Erik Reece. Welcome to the 50th celebration of Earth Day. In the late 60s, Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson hired a young man named Dennis Hayes to start doing teach-ins about the environmental movement across the country. And those teach-ins eventually culminated in the very first celebration of Earth Day in 1970. So I thought I would read the conclusion of Dennis Hayes' speech that he gave on that day. We will not appeal anymore to the conscience of institutions because institutions have no conscience. If we want them to do what is right, we must make them do what is right. We will use proxy fights, lawsuits, demonstrations, research, boycotts, ballots, whatever it takes. This may be our last chance. If environment is a fad, it's going to be our last fad. We are building a movement with a broad base, a movement which transcends traditional political boundaries. It is a movement that values people more than technology, people more than political boundaries and political ideologies, people more than profit. It will be a difficult fight. Earth Day is the beginning. And I thought I'd read two poems here. This is a poem called Animals at Full Moon. Tonight, the full moon is ringed with an iridescent glow. Animals gather in the silver grass, drawn into a ritual we no longer understand. Down the street at the state hospital, inmates spin wire cocoons out of their own mad love. Those of us who don't sleep tied to beds turn restlessly between our sheets, like eels rolling alone inside dark waves, because once we gathered around a fire under a full moon, drawn into a ritual we no longer understand. This is a poem called Directive. We follow the field guide out to the edge of the page and there fix names to things. The hummingbird, for instance, who has molded her nest out of plant down and moss, then fastened it with spider webs to the tenuous branch of a dying white oak. Once I thought art was the opposite of everything around me. Now I see it has been instead a long walk back to the world.
Hello, my name is Julia Purcell. I'll be playing a couple songs for you today. The first one is one that I wrote called Pine Mountain. I was going to record these outside, as some of the artists have done in last week's episode of these Pine Mountain sessions. I hope that you caught that. Heather and Anna both recorded outside. And I thought that was beautiful. So I opened my door and you can hear the bird sounds, which I think is really nice. I wanted to be able to plug in. I'm using my amp and a looping pedal and this little thing called the pocket piano. Just for some additional ambient sounds. But I'm grateful for the sounds coming through my front door and all the beautiful sunlight. Song I'll be doing is a Jean Ritchie song called Cool of the Day. And my Lord, he said unto me, do you like my garden so fair? You may live in this garden if you keep the grasses green. And I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden of my Lord. And he walks in his garden in the cool of the day. Then my Lord, he said unto me, do you like my garden so pure? You may live in this garden if you keep the waters clean. And I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden of my Lord. And he walks in his garden in the cool of the And my Lord, he said unto me, do you like my garden so free? You may live in this garden if you keep the people free. And I'll return in the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden of my Lord. And he walks in his garden in the cool of the
Hi, I'm Marianne Worthington, and I'm honored to support the work of the Kentucky Natural Lands Trust, who works to save the wildlands of Kentucky. Very recently, the Kentucky Natural Lands Trust protected land on Pine Mountain in my home county, Whitley County, and created a 127-acre nature preserve. So thanks to Greg Abernathy, the director, who invited me tonight, and thanks to Daniel Martin Moore, who spearheaded the Pine Mountain sessions. So I'm going to read a piece I wrote very recently as we're quarantined, and then I'll read a very short poem. This is called Redbud. 1. Last spring, when I saw that the highway crew had mowed down all the flowering redbud trees to widen the interstate in Rockcastle County, I almost had to pull over. The sight of all that shocking pink uprooted from the earth and being piled up for burning for miles felt cruel and corrupt. In Kentucky, the eastern redbud seems to grow everywhere, but it's especially prevalent in its unchecked little forests along the roadways. Maybe the bulldozer drivers weren't affected by their destruction. There's so many redbud trees here. What's a few to sacrifice for human commerce and ease of travel? The branches broken, the root balls exposed, the magenta blossoms, that blazing, indescribable pink, already drooping and losing their bright luster, dying in the ditches amid the roar and stink of heavy equipment, seems sinful. 2. This spring, isolated with my partner and holed up inside against an invisible virus, I watched the young redbud in my neighbor's yard. It has bloomed successfully for the 3 springs that the neighbor's house has been neglected. Eventually, the siding blew off the back of that house, the swimming pool cover rotted and crumbled into the stagnant water, weeds choked the fence, and starlings nested in the eaves. I see them fly in and out, imagining their straw nest inside the attic. The 2 deserted cars left in the yard now provide shelter for a family of rabbits. The neighbor's house is in a steady decline, obstructed with vines racing through the gutters and ugly with dilapidation. But the redbud tree next to the house lifts its bare branches higher every winter and shouts the loudest as the weather warms and the fuchsia flowers begin to take hold and skyrocket into the blue sky. 3. Every day I worry for my daughter and her husband. His work as a manager at a busy grocery store in Tennessee makes him essential. He cannot stop working. My daughter has a chronic illness and regularly receives immune suppression therapy. She has stopped working and is staying at home, but each day is a crapshoot for them. Old people are not the only ones dying from this pandemic. The other day I saw an interview with the mother of a 27-year-old who had died after contracting the virus while working in a grocery store. My daughter and son-in-law are in their early 30s. I grew suddenly weak and had to sit down while watching that interview. I worry so much that I'm not sleeping. I'm overeating, I'm procrastinating with my own work, and watching too much really stupid television. I don't know how to deal with the anxiety. When I call my friends and family or check social media, I realize my fears are not unfounded. Everyone is scared, feeling disenfranchised, experiencing nervousness in calamitous ways. 4. Today we took the dog for a car ride. We dropped off the recycling, careful that no one else was near us when we got out of the car to drop off our plastic, aluminum, and paper waste. The day was sunny and mild, perfect weather in southeastern Kentucky. We drove up Highway 25W into Goldbug and took the interstate back to Williamsburg, where the freeway was a picturesque blur of pink. The redbuds are scrappy and hardy at once, teeming with a color found nowhere else in nature, almost blinding in their sudden spring blush. Today I'm grateful for the redbuds' theatrics in their short-lived flowering season to which I get to bear witness. The redbud shows off its flowers, then displays its sweet heart-shaped leaves, bears its pea-shaped fruit, and later sheds its cover to prepare anew for another spring. What will next spring bring for us, I wonder, in this current deluge of horror, politicized illness, bungling federal response, and death? The redbud knows its role. I wish I knew ours. And here's a poem that's included in the Pine Mountain Sessions. It's called Bounty. In the dewy morning, the cucumbers you twisted from prickly garden vines will darken and crisp on your yellow kitchen table, preserving a memory of tendrils crawling through wormy soil and the broad leaves that canopied them in the heated day. They remember stretching from melon flowers. They remember the bees who sugared the stigma. Their seeds will tell you a story of sowing and reaping, a tale suspended in jelly, recited in your salads, read in the Benedictine spread on your bread, and tasted in an emerald grace.